When learning guitar, it's important to make sure that you have your basics down and that you have a good foundation. This video I want to talk about open chords and what chords are in general. This is one of the first things you need to know about when learning guitar. Open chords, or actually let's talk about what is a chord. A chord is more than one note that's being played at the same time, such as that. That's a chord. Or this. Chords, well, these open chords that I'm going to show you have open strings. An open string is something that is being played without being held down. Like I just played those strings open. Open chords have open strings in them, such as this D chord, which it's all right here. I take my first finger, put it on the G string at the 2nd fret, my third finger on the B string 3rd fret, and my second finger on the high E string 2nd fret. And I'm just going to strum like that. And that's a chord. That's a D major chord. The other thing to keep in mind when learning chords is to make sure that you have each note played cleanly and that there's no buzzing. If you get that, it means you have to adjust your hand, and that's one of the things that's hard about learning chords at first, is learning how to adjust your hand. One of the things that I tell my students is you want to keep your fingers curled and keep some space in between. It's almost like you're holding a baseball. You don't want your fingers locked where they're like that, and that's uncomfortable. You want to have it where they're curled. And I keep some space. I don't have my palm up against the guitar like that. I mean, you can, but in general, I kind of keep it about in the middle of the neck. Alright, so that's a D chord. The other thing I'll tell you is when learning chords and such, anytime someone says a letter, just like, hey, it's just an E, a A, and a B, those are all major chords. Otherwise, they'll say E minor or A7 or, you know, some other type of chord. But if they just say D, you should assume that it's major. So anyways, that's our D chord. Here's some others. Here's a C chord. It's your 3rd finger on the A string 3rd fret, your 2nd finger on the D string 2nd fret. You're not going to play anything on the G. You're going to let that ring open chord. And then you're going to have your index finger on the B string 1st fret. And that is a C open chord. Remember, open chords have open strings. Alright, here's an E chord. It's with I use these two fingers, put them together, and I put my 2nd finger on the A string 2nd fret, I put my 3rd finger on the D string 2nd fret, so they're both at 2nd fret, and then my index finger on the G string 1st fret. And that's an E chord, E major. Here's a G chord. There's two ways of playing the G. There's this way, which is your 2nd finger on the low E string 3rd fret, index finger on the B string, not B string, A string 2nd fret. It's a B note. That's why I said that. And then you're going to have your 3rd finger all the way down on the high E string. The other type of G is where they keep this part the same, but they move the 3rd finger up on the B string 3rd fret and the little finger on the high E string 3rd fret. Both G's are right. It's just a matter of preference as to which one you use. I know both and use both. Depends on the song or the sound. I like the sound of this one with all 4 fingers generally better than the other. It's a preference thing, but both are correct. So those are both of your G's. Alright, this next chord I'm going to talk to you about is tough, especially when just starting out. Do not get discouraged or frustrated if it takes you a while. It might take you a month or more. You might get it today, who knows. But if you do have trouble with it, don't get discouraged. It's the F chord. And the reason why it's difficult to get at first is you're using your index finger to hold down two strings. You're holding the B string down and the high E at the first fret, like that. And then you've got your second finger on the G string second fret and your third finger on the D string third fret. And that's your F chord. Remember when you're learning these to make sure that you hear each note cleanly and no, dull or deadened strings. If you do, it means you're either not pushing down hard enough or you need to adjust your hand. If you keep practicing these, it'll get to where you'll just know automatically through muscle memory, and your mind will know how to hold that chord without there being any flaw in it. So if you keep it up, it'll happen where you can just switch chords without any problem. Alright, so those are our major chords. We've talked about A, we've talked about C. There is no B open chord. Did D, we did E, F, and the two G's. The other chords I want to talk about are minor open chords, and there's three of them. There's E minor. Take these two fingers and put them right here like you were when you did E major, and we're not going to use our index finger. It's just those two. It's perhaps the easiest chord because it's only two fingers, but it's the second finger on the A string and the third finger on the D string, and they're both at the second fret. That's your E minor chord. Alright, the next chord I want to show you is an A minor chord. It's where you take your second finger and you put it on the D string at the second fret, your third finger on the G string second fret, and your first finger on the B string first fret. And that's your A minor. Also, a good memory trick to know, and you'll notice it if you look at the chart, that A minor is the same shape as the E major. It's just on a different string. Such as, right here's A minor. If I take that shape and move everything up one string, that's E major. A minor, E major. So that's a good little tip or memory trick you can have. Alright? The other minor chord is D minor. It's where you take your first finger and you put it on the high E string first fret. You take your third finger, put it on the B string third fret, and your second finger on the G string second fret. And that is your D minor. The other thing I'll tell you is that it's a generalization, but major chords sound happy. Minor chords have sort of a sad sound. Happy, sad. And that concludes this video for open chords. Be sure and check out my charts on my blog. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Anyways, that's it. Thank you.